The Outer Worlds is a game which will definitely be outer this world. But how can we even know that as a fact? Because the game isn't even out yet. Well, this is the internet, and that means that I don't need facts. All I need is a couple of solid quotes and spin them out of context if necessary to mix in some solid guesswork and speculation, top all that off with a large dollop of hyperbole. It's the tried and tested YouTube gaming news formula. Enjoy.
The Outer Worlds co-directors Leonard, Boyarsky and Tim Cain have been talking to Gameinformer for the past few weeks. In one specific video published on February the 9th, Leo says the following.
My concern with some of the hype is that nothing we could make, even if we had $100 million, would live up to what people are imagining.
And Timothy continued, Timothy?
I'm sure you had a few Timothys in your school, right?
There was a Tim, he joined us in sixth form. He was a bit like me.
Bit posh.
Yeah.
People think it's more of a open sandbox of a game. Like, oh, you're going to be able to go anywhere on any of the planets. Right. No. Some people have talked about being spanning star systems, and I'm like, no. People are speculating like hundreds of hours of gameplay, and no.
Now, obviously, they've been keen to try to limit players' expectations in a bid to avoid player disappointment, which makes a lot of sense. This is the internet, so yeah, good luck with that.
Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Launch day! Let's go!
In a more recent article published by Gameinformer, Timmy and Leon go into detail about the game world, the locations and the lore. The first thing to understand is that the Outer Worlds takes place in an alternate timeline. Lenny says, there was a point where the timeline split off. It was at a certain point around the time of Einstein. There was a First World War, but it was for different reasons, and maybe there wasn't a Second World War. One of the defining characteristics of this strange alternative future is the dominance of huge corporations within it. The corporations have pretty much taken over everything, Mr. Booyah says. Gameinformer describes during a recent podcast.
So imagine all the worst corporations you can think of in the world. They get together as a little cabal and go off to the distant edge of the galaxy and establish an entire society of colonists built on how to maximize corporate profit.
Gameinformer also explained the deep classism and the importance of money making in society.
The idea of being unemployed in this world you're like a leper or something.
Yeah, it is
like,
horrific and scary.
Tim continues, if you go into Obsidian's kitchen, there's this thing listing employees' rights. In our fictional world, you go into the kitchen and there's a list of employer rights. In case you haven't noticed yet, corporations are kind of a big deal in the Outer Worlds. 10 corporations have pitched together to purchase the solar system in where the game takes place, which is called Halcyon. Now, they don't go into detail what the names of these 10 corporations are, but I've got good money on one of them being EA.
I reckon Activision could easily just buy one of these systems all by themselves, but then they'd just sack all the staff, so you wouldn't have much of a colony there. In the Halcyon solar system, Terra 1 is one of the main locations that players will visit. Terra 1, or Monarch as it was renamed, is a terraformed moon orbiting the gas giant Olympus. It features different little towns forming a much bigger open play space. However, something didn't quite work with the terraforming, resulting in drastically altered animals. It's also said to be full of people rebelling against those evil corporations. I'm just imagining the Sex Pistols yelling at a bunch of mutant cows.
The second main area is Terra 2, and here players will find settlements called Edgewater, Roseway and Byzantium, which are all still loyal to their corporate leaders, but control is beginning to slip away. Kind of like Activision, Blizzard, right? Blizzard beginning to... Or
Activision lost Bungie.
Bungie,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They're not quite loyal, so there's a parallel there.
This game's just coming out at the perfect time.
Yeah. We don't know much about Edgewater, but Roseway is the town featured prominently in the pre-release footage. Byzantium is the elite gated community only accessible to certain citizens. Next up is Tartarus, which was another planet mentioned in the article. The developers compare it to Venus from our solar system, but even worse, with a caustic and toxic environment. So basically, exactly like the YouTube comment sections.
Prove us wrong. Do it, prove us wrong.
Tip of the hat to you guys. It features a maximum security prison run by United Defense Logistics and produces Tartarus sauce. See what they did there? This is apparently a kind of mayonnaise that, while being produced, is briefly exposed to the planet's harsh atmosphere, giving it a tangy flavour from a lot of very low-level toxins.
What they put on your sandwich? Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
They say there's not much restriction on corporate food products in the game. And that's one thing that doesn't actually sound too different from the real world.
Everything
All
that you get in like
shit.
a supermarket, it's all full of horrible
Processed
crap. Full of nasties. Other worlds like the icy Typhon planet, the gas giant Eridanus, and the mineral-rich Hephaestus are all also mentioned. However, they're not specific about which of these planets you'll actually be able to visit. Some of them are just for show. In addition to these worlds, we also have the Hope. This is the ship that a player arrives on to the Halcyon system, which is parked by the icy planet Typhon. Also, there is the Groundbreaker, which was the first colony ship to reach Halcyon, bringing the first wave of corporate colonists.
So there you have it. We just coloured in some of the world in the outer worlds for you. Get it? I'm so funny.
You trying to rock the viewer's world or something?
I rock anybody's world.
You sure as shit
Anybody
don't.
in everybody's world, Henry. Don't you just know it? Yeah.
Does any of this get you even more excited for the game? What bits are you specifically looking forward to? Let us know down below. If you like what you see here and want to help us create it, go on over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. Maybe drop us $1 or $2, get access to our podcast early, just before it comes out to the general public on YouTube. See you next time. Bye for now.
See what I did there? Dropping the buck.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, but I was trying to stay focused on my sentence.
Visualizing it all for them so they know what dropping a buck looks like, in case they didn't know, because some people might not have ever dropped a buck in their lives, and now they know what it looks like. They're more likely to drop us a buck. That's the way I see it.
Let's go with that.